This is what I've come up with to mount my high lift jack. An aluminium plate, some locating nuts and bolts, a U-bolt, a quick fist clamp, and the high lift jack itself. I'll show you how they all go together. Maybe you can use it for your high lift jack mount too. The four-wheel drive jack. They're big, they're ugly, they're cumbersome, they're heavy, and they're a pain in the ass. But they're kind of essential. So here's the plan, man. I will construct some sort of plate to hold the high lift jack to the side step. The jack will then bolt through the back of the tray to locate it in place, and we might trim it a little bit because she pokes out quite a way up the top, but that's the idea. Righto, so I've got some 8mm plate aluminium. You can see I've marked it out using a scribe and some basic tools. We'll sink some holes in there, tap them, put a 10mm M10 thread through there, and that will become the foot that the jack will sit on. Here you can see the base of our foot drilled out now. I've already tapped one of them. It's a little bit hard to pick it up on camera. It's pretty simple actually. All you really need with aluminium is a drill. And you put the tap in there, a bit of WD-40, and it sinks in pretty quick, pretty easy. Just backwards and forwards, and it goes home. And as you can see, measure twice, get it right the first time. I jagged it. So now we just have to cut it, mount our U-bolts, and then the base is done with a bit of rubber for protection, and then we can move on to the headboard. Now I have the high lift jack mocked up in position on my mount that I made. I'm going to start working on how to secure it to the back of the headboard here. I've been doing a little bit of looking online and see how other people do it. The obvious one is to sink a bolt straight through there from the other side forward and tighten it up with a nut. But I've noticed in America, the good old Americans seem to use these. These are quick fist clamps. Now I've seen them mount 3 of these to the top of their trays, the roll bars or whatever you want to call them, and literally like that Three of them hold up the high lift jack on these rubber clamps. Now they're very sturdy, they're very stiff. We're not actually holding the weight of the jack. We're just securing the jack, so to speak. So my plan is to modify this a little bit and see how it goes. This is the quick fist clamp unmodified. You can see the base kind of flares out a little bit, although they say once it is bolted down, that doesn't happen. But I think there's a little bit of room for modification. As I said, we're not really holding any weight with it, we're just securing it to the headboard. So I think if we mod it a little bit, we're not really going to do any damage, and if we do, I've got plenty of other ones, and let's see how we go. We have the clamp cut out now, and you can see the high lift jack now sits pretty close to the tray. I don't actually want it touching the tray. You can see there's a bit of space all the way down. This is to stop it rattling and vibrating. And once that's secured in there, I don't think it's going to move at all. We also have the option to put another one down here, which I may do. But for now, I think this is pretty sweet. So we'll secure the mount to the tray and then see how it goes. Well, there you have it. This is the finished result. It's a simple 8mm plate, a couple of holes drilled in it. The first 3 holes with the studs in it and the bolt to hold the jack itself. The last 2 holes are for a U-bolt clamp that sits on the chassis rail. Underneath, I've just glued some rubber to it. And over here on the chassis, you can see that U-bolt clamp, and there's some more of that rubber onto the step, and the plate simply sits on top of it. I'll give the plate some paint. It'll look pretty, and we'll see how it looks from there. The completed high lift jack mount, all secured nice and tight. There's some rubber underneath here so it doesn't rub through the step. Secured very tightly up here. You can't even move this thing. It's not going anywhere. Well, I would call that a success. Well guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Cheers.